So again, very good afternoon to all, and we have 11 people in the class now. Aditya, Gaurav, Jaipal, Lakshya, Mihir, Rishabh, Sagar, Sahil, Shashank, Shubhang, Tanish, and Yashpal. So okay, and let us just start the class for the day. So yesterday we studied about the bills of exchange, and there are three bills of exchange. We have three negotiable instruments we have studied. So we have studied about negotiable instruments yesterday, and we have studied three types of negotiable instruments, which are given under section 4, 5, and 6 respectively. Are this promissory note, bills of exchange, and check. So checks and bills of exchange, there is not much difference because checks are the bills of exchange which are drawn on the banker. So the difference between bills of exchange and promissory note is that promissory note have two parties, bills of exchange have three parties, and the maker in the bills of exchange is the debtor himself, whereas the acceptor, the drawer in drawer in the drawer in the bills of exchange is the creditor, whereas a maker in the promissory note is the debtor. So that's what it is, and the parties also, there is a difference in the parties too. And today we will be studying something about the acceptance. So how acceptance happens, how acceptance does, and what actually is acceptance, we will be studying that today. Okay, so let me just take you to the acceptance part now. So acceptance is given under the section 7. So acceptance we have studied in our what you call is our contract act also. So this is also similar acceptance, but this acceptance is related only to the you can say only in case of bills of exchange, because bill is drawn by a drawer and on the drawee, and drawee has to accept that bill, and it has to be returned back. It has to be informed that he has accepted the bill, and the information has to be done in a proper time, and the drawer must be informed about the same. Okay, so let us now just take it further. So acceptance of the bills is indication by the drawee of his assent to the order of the drawer. So drawer is making an order to the drawee for payment of certain amount, and drawee has to accept the order in order to become the acceptor. So section 7 states that an acceptance is a signature of the drawee of a bill who has signed his assent upon the bill and delivered it. So it is not necessary to write accepted, but even a signature without writing accepted will be sufficient that he has accepted it. Okay, so acceptor after a drawee, then he will become a acceptor. So who is acceptor? After drawee of a bill has signed his assent upon the bill, or if there are more parts of the bill, then every part is to be signed upon such parts and delivered the same or given a notice of that signing to the holder or to some person on the behalf of the holder, then he will be called acceptor. Okay, so in nutshell, or in easy words, acceptor is a drawee who has signed his assent upon the bill and delivered it to the holder. So both the things are very, very necessary over here. So one is the signing of the bill, and second is the delivery of the bill or conveying of the information to the holder of the bill. So both the things are equally necessary, right? Next is the acceptance of the owner. When a bill of exchange has been dishonored by non-acceptance and any person accepts it for owner of the drawer or of any endorser, such person is called acceptor for owner. So the payment which he makes is known as the payment for owner. So we will be discussing the acceptor for owner and payment of owner, both the things. Meanwhile, we will be also be considering the holder and the holder in due course in today's class. So acceptor for owner is a person who accepts the bill when it is going to be dishonored. So he is actually accepting it for honoring the bill. So in other words, it is an undertaking by a third party to accept and pay the bills of exchange what was dishonored, either by non-acceptance, that is dishonor by non-acceptance, or by non-payment. So a bill can be dishonored by either by non-acceptance or by non-payment. So any of these things are happening, and this third party actually comes and accepts the bill, then he will become a acceptor for owner. Now the question arises, who will take this flying arrow? Okay, so who will take this flying? उड़ता तीर कौन लेगा? Who will take this flying arrow and why it will be taken? Okay, means there is a transaction between A and B. So A has sold goods to B. Now A is writing a bill of exchange on B, and B, being a drawee, has accepted the bills of exchange, but he is not able to make the payment on the due date. Now what he wants? He wants somebody should accept it for owner. So he will request someone else to accept the bill for owner and pay the drawer the required amount if it is not being paid by him on the due date through the payment of for owner. Okay, so this is also called acceptance supra protest. Okay, so before protesting you are actually getting the acceptance. Now how acceptance for owner may be made, this is also written. So a person desiring to accept for owner must, by writing on the bills under his hand, declares that he accepts under protest and the protested bill for the owner of the drawer or for a particular endorser whom he names, or generally for the owner. So it is normally for the owner. So it is done to honor the bill so that the bill should not get dishonored. But this is owner by he will be called acceptor for owner. So it is acceptance by owner, you can say. Okay. So some other third party is coming in picture. So what are the essentials of a valid acceptance for owner? So first thing is the holder must consent to acceptance for owner. So holder of the bill, that is a person who is drawer. So drawer of the bill must actually must be agreeing that okay fine, somebody else can accept it, and because he is having usko paise se matlab hai, he actually needs money. So this person is not giving money. So other person is ready to give the money and he is ready to honor the bill for acceptance. So the holder must be ready for it. Okay, so holder must be consent, give the consent for it. Next is the bill must have been noted or protested for non-acceptance. So because, and noting and protesting is necessary. Why? Because the person, the third party, is nowhere over here before. But until and unless noting and protesting is done, he may not be held responsible, or he may not held the initial drawee responsible until unless his name is endorsed and his name is written, his name is noted and protested. Next is the acceptance of owner can be made by a person who is not already liable on the bill. So only a person means there can be joint drawees also. So drawee of the bill, if he refuses to accept the bill, then a drawee of a bill, when he refuses to accept the bill, becomes a stranger. So he may therefore accept the bill for the owner of any party thereto. Okay. So if he has refused to accept and then afterwards he wants to accept it for owner, he can do it. But if he is already a party to it, he cannot go for. It will not be a valid acceptance for owner. Next is very simple. It has to be in writing and it must be for the whole amount of the bill. It means that the owner for acceptance is not the part amount. You cannot just write on the bill, okay, I will partly accept it. Now what will happen to the remaining part? So that is not the fair deal. Next is acceptance must be for the owner of any party already liable on the bill. Acceptance of the owner must be made before to bill is overdue. So it must not be made after the dishonor of the bill. It has to be done only before the bill is due for the payment. Anytime before the due date of the bill, it can be done. Next is stranger paying for owner must before payment declare before a notary public that the party for whose owner he pays and the notary public must have recorded such declaration. So he has to declare that for whom he is paying. Actually, by such declaration, he is making some other party liable that to pay him certain amount which he is paying now. Okay, so that is foremost important. So he has to declare, and the notary public who is there, he has to actually record this that he is paying on the behalf of the drawee. Because why? Because this particular person drawee has to pay this who is the acceptor for owner after a certain period of time the money which the acceptor for owner has paid, or who the money for which the acceptance has been given. Now there are four essentials which we have just now, five essentials which we have just now studied. In writing, it was signed by a maker, acceptance on the front and back can be done, and the acceptance must be delivered or it can be communicated, and there has to be a unconditional acceptance. There cannot be a conditional acceptance at all. Next is now how it will be, how will you accept for owner? For example, the acceptance of owner writes as below the across the bill as given under the specimen of the bills of exchange. क्या लिखेगा वो? Accepted supra protest or accepted for Mr. AB. Okay, so this is something which is written by the this acceptor by for owner. Then he will be become the then this acceptance by owner will be valid. So there are certain rights and liabilities of the acceptance for the owner. First is acceptor for the owner binds himself to all the subsequent parties to pay the amount of the bill if the drawee does not pay. So what the thing is, as it is a bills of exchange, it may be having some long validity. So, and it is accepted by owner, accepted for owner by a person before the maturity. So, to whatever extent the bill is being transferred, okay, before maturity, this holder is liable to pay each and every person the required amount. But at the same time, he must be able to pay it off. Otherwise, there is of no use. Again, it will get, bounced. Okay. So the party for whose owner he accepts to pay the amount, and all the parties are liable to compensate the acceptor of owner for all the loss damage sustained by him in consequence of such acceptance. Why? Now, why this person has come into picture? This person has come into picture because the drawees have not actually honored the bill, or they do not actually have sufficient money to honor the bill. So this person has come in between and has honored the bill. So because of this virtue, he may have incurred some loss, some, his money which otherwise belonged to him has gone to somewhere else, or something like that has happened. So these parties to the original parties to the bill must make him compensated for the expenses he has incurred. Okay. Next is the bills of exchange should be presented at maturity to the drawer for payment, and it must be dishonored by the drawer and noted and protested for presented or forwarded for payment to the drawee has been done. So these things are essentials. You can say there are things further more essentials. No. Okay, so this is about the acceptance for the owner. Next is holder and holder in due course. Now, who is the holder? Holder is a person who actually holds the promissory note, or who is having the possession of the person. He is entitled to have a possession. He may not be having possession, but he is entitled to have a possession. So holder of a promissory note or bills of exchange or a check means any person entitled in his own name to possession thereof and to receive or recover the amount due thereon from the parties thereto. Okay, so where the note, bills of exchange, or a check is lost or destroyed, its holder is the person who is entitled to claim the damages or the loss. Okay, so holder of a document is a true owner of that particular document. Okay, so even if he loses his possession, still he will be called as a holder. Okay, So broadly speaking, a holder means the owner of a negotiable instrument. What is required is a right possession. He's a right to have the, because the things belongs to him, so he is having all the rights to have that particular document with him. So a person in possession of an instrument without having a right to possess can't be called a holder. So even if someone is suppose of someone has stolen a check and is kept with him, so in that case, this person will not be called as a holder. Okay, because he has forged or he has brought the check by some forgery. Let us see these two examples. Example, a person who finds or steals a bearer instrument or takes an instrument under the forged endorsement is not a holder. Reason is that the holder of negotiable instrument must have right to receive or recover the money thereon from the parties thereto. So he is actually founder of that particular check, or he has got that check forged. So he is having no right to receive or recover the money on behalf of that instrument which is having. He has actually stolen it, so it doesn't belongs to him. So as the thing doesn't belongs to him, and secondly, he has not even given any value to it. So a thing which is received without attaining or without getting a value or without delivering a value is not a proper contract, and neither such instrument will confer a better title. Okay. So next example is an agent holding an instrument. Now what happens? The agent is also holding an instrument on the behalf of the principal. In that case, he will also not be a holder. Who will be the holder? Principal will be the holder on whose behalf the agent is actually holding the document. Next is your holder in due course. So any question regarding holder? Anyone? Anything you would like to ask? Come on. Or should I ask you? Yes, Lagan, sorry. Lagan, Lakshay Sharma. Vaishnavi Mishra. What do you mean by holder of a negotiable instrument? Batao. Vaishnavi,
Yes,
are you
sir.
there?
Yes, sir.
Please tell me who is a holder of a negotiable instrument.
Mm, I have no idea.
हैं? अभी तो पढ़ाया है.
Sir, I joined late.
That's why I asked you, Janvi. You have just joined. Shashank Khosla.
Yes, sir.
What is holder? बल्ब का होल्डर मत बनाना भाई. ओके.
Yes, sir.
मैं कह रहा हूँ बल्ब का होल्डर मत बता देना.
No, sir. No, sir.
हाँ. Who is the
Sir,
holder?
sir, a person who has the custody of bills of exchange or check.
No, my dear. Who may not be having custody, but who is having right to have the possession of the bills of exchange, and is having a right to get the money out of that particular instrument which is given to him. So he
Okay,
is
sir.
the okay. So next is holder in due course. Okay, so now we'll be studying holder in due course, which is given under section 9. So let me revise for you. Section 4 is of promissory notes. Section 5 is of bills of exchange. Section 6 is of checks. Section 7 is of your what we have just now studied. Section 7 is of D. What is that? Acceptance. Sorry. Yeah. And section 8 is of holder. Section 9 is of holder in due course. So holder in due course means any person who for consideration became the possessor of a promissory note, bills of exchange or check or the payee or endorsee thereof before the amount mentioned in it has become payable, and without having sufficient cause to believe that the defect existed in the title of the person from whom he derived his title. So if he is not aware of that a instrument is forged, and he has taken the position of that instrument, he will still be called as a holder in due course. So holder in due course is a person who has actually, paid for that. Suppose, for example, a person has given goods to someone, and in exchange of that, he receives a check. Okay, so he is actually receiving the things on check because he has done something for it. Okay, and he has actually delivered the goods to someone, and in consideration of that, he is receiving the check. So there has to be a consideration in this. So there has to be some value earned or value delivered or value given. Okay, so and it must be before the due date. Okay, for example, A draws a check of rupees 5,000 and hands it over to B by way of gift. So B is a holder, but not a holder in due course, as he does not get the check for the value and the consideration. But he still is a holder, and he is entitled to get rupees 5,000 from the bank. No problem in that. But he will not be called holder in due course. Holder in due course must be a person who has received the instrument for the value he has given. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So next is your example number 2. On a bills of exchange of 1 lakh, X acceptance to the bill is for. So B has received some bill from X, who has given the things for by forging it, or you can say it is something which has been done, which is forged. Forged means by fraud, someone has taken a consent, or someone has taken the just keeping the checks along with the other checks, he has taken the sign on this check also. So he has obtained the check by forgery. Who has obtained? A has obtained. From whom? From X. So X check is with A, but he has obtained it by doing a forgery. So he is guilty of being a fraud. And then what A does? What B does? So B is having a check of A, and B has not delivered this check. B is having check of X, and now he is delivering this check to A. Okay, who receives the check in a good faith. Now, in this case, A will be called as a holder in due course. It has been asked over here. But why, you tell me that? Can you see this question on your screens? Can you see this question on your screen? This is an example. This is a problem given over here. Are you able to understand this or not? You tell me that. If you are not able to, I will make you understand. Anyone? Chirayu, are you there in the class? Chirayu Khandelwal? Not there.
Sir, can you explain?
Yeah, why not? Please carry on. That's what I want.
Yes, sir, can you explain, sir, example?
Okay, you want me to explain?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So listen, there are 3 persons over here. B is not being named. Okay, so X, B, and A. Okay, so X has given one check to B. Actually, B has obtained this check by forging the check. Okay, so X doesn't knows whether he has given any check, but his check is with B for rupees, suppose 10,000, and B has taken a goods of rupees 10,000 from A, and he delivers the X check to A. A has accepted it. Okay, now the thing is that, can A receive the amount of the bill? Number one. Second, can A be considered as a holder in due course? Now you have to answer this. Come on. Come on, come on. Who will answer? Pranav Sharma, I hope you have understood this now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now answer me.
Sir, he can accept the check from B, which is came from.
What you are saying?
Sir, I'm saying, sir, that he can accept the check.
No, check has already accepted by who? A. It's a question of
Yes,
A.
sir.
Number one, the first question which I have asked is that A can be considered as a holder in due course or not. You just answer me this.
No,
Can
sir.
A be treated as a holder in due course?
No, sir.
No. Why?
सर फॉर्जरी का है तो फिर गुड फेथ में ही होगा ना.
I've already told you. See this. Let me show you. Holder in due course is a person who receives it without having sufficient cause to believe that an defect existed in the title of the person whom he has derived. So X doesn't knows whether he has A has obtained the bill in bill in a good faith or not. Okay, so he will be called a holder in due course. Now next question is that can A receive the bill, the amount of bill from X? Because X has written the check. So it's X check. बताइए. Come on. Without wasting time, let me just tell you. X cannot receive the payment. Why? Because he has not given anything to X. This A cannot receive the payment. So according to section 9 of Negotiable Instrument Act, holder in due course means any person who for consideration becomes the possessor of the promissory note, right, or bills of exchange or check if payable to bearer or pays of the endorsee thereof if payable to order before the amount in it become payable and without having sufficient cause to believe that any defect caused in that. So the instrument was defected, the title was not clear, but still this person will be called holder in due course. Number one. Secondly, he will not be, because in this case he will not be able to receive any amount. Okay, because it is a case of forgery. So he cannot retain the money. Even if he gets the money from the bank, he has to return it to X because it actually belongs to X. Okay. Now what the thing is, now what will happen? Because he has supplied the goods to A, so he can file a suit against A for recovery of his goods or the money which he has, of the goods itself. Okay. So this is the thing. Hope you understand this. Okay, so the true owner may sue on the tort and the person who has received. So who is a true owner? X is a true owner. He will file a suit against this person A in order to recover the money because of B's mistake, A has got the money. At the same time, A is having a right to file a suit against B to recover the money because he has actually forged it. Okay, so this is. So holder in due course is protected when there is a defect in the title, but he derives no title when there is entire absence of the title in case of the forgery. Hence, A cannot receive the amount of the bill. Okay. So what are the essential to become a holder in due course? So holder in due course must have the paid valuable consideration. So here in this case, A has given the consideration. He has given the goods in exchange of which he has accepted the check. So he is holder in due course. Okay. So or otherwise if it is given as a gift, then the person will cannot become holder in due course, but he will become the holder. So holder must acquire the instrument before its maturity in order to attain the status of holder in due course, and holder must have obtained the instrument in good faith. Further, he must the instrument must be complete and regular. Complete and regular means it the signing, mining, and all everything must be proper. It should be properly stamped, and all things should be there. Further, he must have received the instrument as a holder. That is, a holder in due course may either be a party or either be a payee or a possessor if the instrument is payable to bearer, or endorsee if the instrument is payable by order. So there are certain privileges which a holder in due course actually enjoys. Okay, so what are these privileges? So in case of inchoate instruments, a person signing and delivering to another person are stamped, but otherwise inchoate instrument, when you execute, no, what are these instruments? These instruments are not properly complete, not properly signed. Means other things are there, but actually these are incomplete, or you can say these are not signed properly, or you can sign in the wrong way, or उल्टे हाथ से sign कर दिया, sign match नहीं हो रहे. Okay, so such type of instrument. So it is stamped also सब कुछ है, but it is a incomplete instrument, is debarred from asserting as against the holder in due course that the instrument was not being filled in accordance with the authority given by him, the stamp being sufficient to cover the amount. Okay, so this is what, so holder in due course having all the privilege because he has actually paid for the consideration. So even if he receives such an instrument which is not proper, he is still protected by the law. Okay. For example, A signs his name on the blank, but stamped instrument which he gives to B. Okay, with an authority to fill up as a note of sum of rupees 3,000 only, but B fills it for 5,000. Okay, B then transfer it to C for a consideration of rupees 5,000, who takes it in good faith. So now here what happens? There is some forgery happened. Okay, here in case C is entitled to recover the full amount of the instrument because he is holder in due course, because he has paid the consideration for it. Whereas B, being the holder, cannot recover the amount because he filled the wrong amount in this case. Okay, so what happens? So who is more powerful, holder or holder in due course? Tell me. Tanishq Agarwal, tell me, who is more powerful, holder or holder in due course? Gaurav Sharma, you tell me, who is more powerful, holder or holder in due? Yeah, Tanishq, tell me.
So holder in due course.
Very good. Why? Because holder in due course is having a right to recover the money. Okay. Next privilege is in case of a fictitious bill. In case a bill of exchange is drawn payable to drawer's order in a fictitious name and is endorsed by the same hand and a drawer's signature, it is not permissible for the acceptor to allege as against the drawer as holder in due course that such name is fictitious. Okay. So holder in due course, even if the name is fictitious, again it is guaranteed that he will be properly paid. So in case of a conditional instrument, or you can say it is so it is called escrow. So in case a bill or a note is negotiated to a holder in due course, the other parties to the bill or the note cannot avoid the liability on the ground that the delivery of the instrument was conditional. So it is not at all like, means so those instruments which are conditional instruments, or you can say escrow, means on happening of certain event. For example, the money will be released or only if the goods are transferred. So the transferring of goods, then only the money will be released. In that case, if such instruments are issued and are provided to holder in due course, in that case, the holder in due course will be having all the rights to receive the payment before it gets matured. Okay. Next is in case of instrument obtained by unlawful means or unlawful consideration. This we have already discussed, that a person liable in the negotiable instrument cannot set up against the holder in due course the defenses that the instrument has been lost, obtained from by the former by the means of the offense or whatsoever. Okay. So holder in due course acquires a title free from all the defects because he has received the instrument believing that the instrument is true. Next is in case of original validity of the instrument being denied. So no maker of the promised note or bill or a check and no acceptor of the bill for the owner of the drawer shall in a suit thereon by a holder in due course be permitted to deny the validity of the instrument as originally made or drawn. In short, holder in due course get a good title of the bill even if the bill is having a wrong signature or something else. Okay, because the most important thing over here is that holder in due course is a person who has received it for the value which he has paid for it. Okay, so that's why he enjoys all the good title free from all the defects. Next is in case pay's capacity to endorse it is designed. So no maker of a promissory note or acceptor or a bills of exchange shall to order shall in a suit thereon in the holder in due course be permitted to deny the pay's capacity at the date of the note or bill. So pay's capacity is not at all. So even if he is the capacity of pay is not proper, still the holder in due course will be having good title because payee has to, is having means if even if he is not having a capacity to endorse the bill, still the holder in due course will be having a good title. So he will always enjoy a good title. So next is payment in due course. So what happens? Payment in due course in accordance with the apparent tenor of the instrument in good faith and without negligence to any person in possession thereof under circumstances which do not afford a reasonable ground for believing that he is not entitled to receive the payment of the amount therein mentioned. So payment of due course is nothing but payment by a holder in due course. Okay, so it is nothing more than that. Okay, this is all from my side for today, and we have almost finished more than half. I think half of your negotiable instruments act because the entire act is not in your syllabus. Okay, so we have only left with two topics. One is your check, crossing of checks, and dishonor of negotiable instruments. So that we will be finishing in the coming classes to be there. Okay, so today you all have to say yes, sir, when I will be taking attendance. Okay, then only it will be marked properly. So I am starting now. So Aditya Chopra, Akash
Yes,
Jain,
sir.
Abhay Jain, Abhishek Singh Sisodia,
Yes,
Adhiraj,
sir.
Akash, Arvind, Ashutosh Sharma, Chirayu, Dipti Rakesh,
Yes, sir.
Divyanshi Choksi. I'm not hearing yes sir from your side. Divyanshi, are you there? Not there. Dipti Rakesh. Dipti has gone somewhere. So you have to speak when I announce your name. Fazal Ahmad,
Yes, sir.
Gaganjeet Singh, Gaurav Sharma, Harshit Gupta, Ajay Pal Singh, Jayant Dwivedi, Kanishk Vilochi, Jayant Dwivedi,
Yes, sir.
Jayant Dwivedi, your attendance is short, you know very well.
Yes, sir.
If you will continue like this, there will be a problem.
Okay, sir.
Kanishk, Kashish Sharma, Khushi Wadhwa, Kashish and Khushi, where are you? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Lagan,
Yes, sir. Kashish
Lakshay Sharma,
Sharma.
Present, sir. Sir, Lakshmi Sharma present.
yeah, Lucky Chaudhary, Manish Khileri, Mihir Agarwal, Naman Jain, Naman Singh,
Meher Agrawal present, sir. Present, sir.
Neha Goplani, Parija.
Yes, sir.
Where is Parija?
So I'm here.
Parth Gautam, Pranav Sharma, Priyam Soni,
Present, sir.
Raghav Malpani, Rajveer Singh Anand,
Present, sir. Yes, sir. Raju.
ऋषभ गोयल, ऋषि कानूनगो, ऋतिक यादव,
Present, sir.
सचिन
Present, sir.
यादव,
Rishi
सागर
Ganongo.
साहिल खंडेलवाल, शशांक खोसला, श्रेयांश
Yes.
जैन, शुभांग,
Present, sir.
सरजल, सृजल,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
सुरभि सिंगल, तनिष अग्रवाल,
Yes,
अरुण
sir.
सिंह, उज्जवल गुप्ता।
Yes, sir.
उज्जवल गुप्ता किधर है? हाँ तनिष्ठ ओके। उज्जवल गुप्ता है ही नहीं। जानवी में सॉरी वैष्णवी मिश्रा, विक्रमादित्य, विशाल चौधरी, यशस्वी एंड यशपाल।
Present, sir.
Present, sir.
सर मेरा नाम नहीं आया।
Present, sir.
किसका नहीं आया?
सर मेरा नाम भी नहीं आया।
जयपाल।
सर मेरा भी नहीं आया।
जयपाल सिंह तंवर,
सर मेरा भी नहीं है।
सर
सर सचिन।
सचिन,
सचिन सर।
Sir, Priyam.
प्रियम,
सर तरुण सिंह। विराट कोहली।
तरुण सिंह,
सर सागर
Yes,
सिंह।
sir.
सागर का ले लिया था मैंने, शिल्पी का तुम सो रहे थे तब।
सर सचिन का आ गया।
हाँ सचिन का आ गया, नहीं आया तो सचिन। ओके राइट गाइस, विशाल चौधरी का भी आ गया।
सर प्रियम का आ गया ना सर?
हाँ आ गया भाई।
सर जयपाल का।
फाइन, सो हैव अ नाइस डे, टेक केयर, बाय बाय, सी यू
Bye, bye.
टुमारो।
Okay.
Bye, sir.
या